What's up, nerds? Welcome to this special film review edition of Them Nerds. I am Tony, and that over there, that's Jerry. Behind him is Darkseid, though. They're not, that's not the same person. We had to clarify that when I was talking about Darkseid being ashy, I was talking about Darkseid. We are here to talk to you today about the media behemoth that is the Snyder Cut. Everyone wants to talk about the Snyder Cut. We're going to talk about the Snyder Cut. I don't know if Jerry wants to talk about the Snyder Cut. I told him we needed to talk about the Snyder Cut.
I was forced to watch it.
Yes, I waterboarded him into watching the Snyder Cut. Here's the deal. We are not typically the biggest fans of DC, particularly their films. I think I'm don't want to speak for you, Jerry, but I think the two of us pretty much agree. Wonder Woman was great. Aquaman was goodish. And the Joss, it was what? Palatable. And the Superman movies made me want to take naps.
See, I didn't buy the first Superman movie. I thought it was good. We only had one, so I thought it was good.
Well, there was Man of Steel, and then there was Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, right?
Yeah, but I don't really consider that a Superman movie or a Batman movie. I think it's collaboration.
It was a mixtape.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like it was like a rap battle.
So I think the one thing that both of us definitely agree on is whatever Joss Whedon produced that they called Justice League was not great.
It was forgettable in the fact that I forgot everything.
Yes, literally, it was hard to remember. So to prepare for the Snyder Cut coming out, I rewatched all of the DC films that have led up to it. And I watched the Batman versus Superman Ultimate Cut, or whatever the devil they call it. It's on HBO Max. And I found myself being really into it. I liked it. And I started getting excited for the Snyder Cut. But then I remembered how much I hated Justice League. So I was not sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, I really enjoyed the Snyder Cut. Did Jerry enjoy the Snyder Cut?
I didn't think it was great. Wasn't impressed.
Now, I
don't want to watch any movie that has 6 parts. This isn't Gone with the Wind.
It was a little bulky, the film.
Maybe that's why you got replaced as Zack, because you don't know how to trim the fat, man. Come on, dude. I don't have this kind of time. I should not have to tell myself, no, you are an adult and you have to be at work tomorrow. I need to shut this off.
I'm a fan of reading novels rather than watching films as far as character development. I like TV shows better than films as far as character development. We talked about this on the show. Films are so short. It's hard to fully develop characters, in 2 hours, 3 hours, right? I got the feel from this like I was really watching episodes of a show because it was so freaking long.
I just didn't get continuity-wise how anything made sense. Like, why is Aquaman acting like he doesn't know who Mira is when they've already had a whole movie? And obviously this show must take place, or this movie must take place before Aquaman does, because he has the trident.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a continuity hiccup with Aquaman for sure. I was thinking the same thing. The action in Justice League takes place before the action in Aquaman.
Makes no sense.
Right. And because in Justice League, he says, oh, I've got to go see my father, right? And then he goes in Aquaman, he's with his father. In Justice League, they talk about...
I don't get why the Swedish people sang to him when he went into the water.
Let's talk about the music in the Snyder Cut. What kind of a fangirl of Leonard Cohen must this man be?
I don't know. I thought that it was the weirdest thing. I assumed another movie was starting when the trailer showed up, and it was singing Hallelujah at me in some weird voice. Like, whose voice was that even? It was like,
I don't know.
The Swedish girl at the beach. that was probably singing like Wilson Phillips or something in Swedish. The hold on for one more day.
It, I will say, I think that if this was the original version of Justice League that was released, I would probably have watched it and said, oh, it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been like,
But here's the thing. I think the reason why I enjoyed this so much is because coming off of Batman versus Superman, going into Whedon's version of Justice League, it was a huge cliff.
yeah.
You
I
you
definitely
got
think there was aspects of the movie that were really good. Like I thought I enjoyed parts of it. I just think that as a whole, there's a lot that I just didn't understand why it was there. Like
well
why did Flash save a hot dog?
for the dogs.
Yeah. You don't think the idea that you're running through freaking hot dog juice to save this girl is going to be enough to get the dogs to play all over? You got to put one in your pocket too. Like, it just seemed. But it just seems to me, I don't know. I also
Here's
found the Wonder Woman scene where she saves the people in the bank
yeah.
very similar to what's in the original Wonder Woman movie, where she's doing the same exact moves, spinning around and stopping bullets and everything else. Like, it was like very like, you liked it in this movie, watch it in this one.
Yeah. I felt like, I don't feel like the Snyder cut necessarily did the Wonder Woman character any favors. I don't necessarily feel like it did the Superman character any favors. But one of the reasons why I enjoyed it so much is because of the elevation and development specifically of Batman and Cyborg. Those were my favorite things about this movie, and Flash too, for that matter. I mean, we got to know a lot more about Flash. Of course, maybe it didn't feel like I cared as much about Flash because we've already seen so much of Flash on TV.
Yeah, and plus, knowing now that it's going to take 15 years to make a movie.
Right. I loved the development of Cyborg in the Snyder Cut. That was, to me, like the saving grace of this film compared to the original release.
Yeah, and I think that I could see a lot of the actor's frustration, because obviously this movie was very Cyborg centered, and he was like basically whittled down to a cameo.
Right. In the Whedon version, he was basically like, "Booyah, let's go kick some ass."
Yeah.
And in this, it's shown that not only is he a super genius, but he's also he has the potential to be the most powerful hero outside of maybe Superman because of his connection to everything electronic and computerized and all of this. Plus, he had a really good story arc with his parents and his and the whole accident and everything.
I also think that Superman was done justice in this movie compared to the Whedon version.
They fixed his mustache for sure.
Yeah, that was. I remember I said that. I was like, "Where are the scenes with the?" They did a really good job with getting the mustache off on this one, and then you're like, "It's because they didn't put any of those scenes in." No. Who would have known that the worst scenes in the movie were scenes that were added in?
I don't know if Whedon was too busy being a horrible human being out in the world, and he just didn't have the time to really think through what this movie should be. But watching the original Justice League, I was like, this is trash, dude. I didn't even like this at all. But then watching this, I'm like, okay.
It also makes me wonder what kind of relationship Zack Snyder has with Josh Whedon.
I don't know. They must.
I don't know if that was my friend, I would be like, damn, fool, how much do you hate me?
Right. I mean, even if they get along, if they're friendly with each other, the disrespect to take that much of a movie and be like, nah.
Yeah.
Especially since Snyder was the kind of the architect of everything that DC had been really doing up to that point.
Yeah.
I
will say this. I think that Zack Snyder deserves a second chance at whether it be the Batman franchise or give him one of the franchises and see what he can do. Because comparing this to what you actually allow to go out to theaters, you can tell that man had a lot better view of what fans would want to see. I don't ever get the idea of why everything is so dark. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, Gotham or wherever they're at, Metropolis. It just seems like, my God, like they need to put some real regulations on coal mining. This town is just dirty. People just, it's like Reno. It's like, must be like Reno, Nevada all the time.
Apologies to our fans in Reno, Nevada.
You know.
Yeah. Well, there, and you know, the darkness, I think it's a stylistic thing that Snyder does. Like I got this one of my favorite things about this about the Snyder cut were the fight scenes, especially the big climactic fight scene where
on the
spoilers, Wonder Woman ends up cutting off Steppenwolf's dome. That whole lead up to that scene, all the fight stuff that went on during that scene, I loved it. I was riveted. It was a really enjoyable fight scene.
Oh yeah, that was great. I also thought it was funny, you know, some of the memes that they've had, like where when you buy it or when you see it versus when you buy it online, and like that is what it like. A lot of the characters that Josh Whedon changed looked cheap compared to what was originally planned. Like it was like when they lost Zack Snyder, where they're like, you also lose a 30-year budget. I mean, like what happened?
Right. Yeah, like Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
What Steppenwolf in the Whedon version looked like somebody cosplaying Steppenwolf.
Yeah, it looks like a Wish costume.
Right.
I got this costume and 30 meth pipes.
Free with purchase. Do you think, I know, like, I need you to temper yourself for a moment here. I know that DC is not your cup of tea.
It's not that it's DC. This movie was not great.
He can't temper himself.
I can't. Go ahead.
Knowing what we got from Whedon and then seeing what we got that was originally intended, do you understand why there was so much hype and so much push to release the Snyder Cut? Hashtag release the Snyder
absolutely.
Cut.
I think that Snyder was half the hype reason. Like, I mean, when you're the one who's releasing stuff and being like, yeah, you should have saw what I did. You hated that. You should have saw what I did. That's going to obviously draw some attention. I think that this proves anything. It goes along with the Marvel, MCU also. Josh Whedon is kind of good to put out just to draw your initial audience and then get him out of there and bring in two really great writer and directors, and then they're going to really finish it out for you and bring in even more people. I mean, how is this any different than the Avengers and Age of Ultron? Both movies were like, they're okay. Like, I didn't feel like I need to go to the manager and ask for my money back, but all of a sudden you hire the Russo brothers and you're like, my God, this is what it could have been the whole time.
Right.
I didn't have to watch a robot say he has no strings on him. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely, I don't put blame on Zack Snyder for how horrible Justice League already was. That already put the bad taste in my mouth when they re-released it. And then I watched it and I thought to myself, it's been so long that I don't remember enough of the first movie other than I hated it. And now I'm watching this and I'm thinking like, it's on and off again of when I really enjoy it and when I really don't like it. Or I thought at first I just said how I just didn't like it twice, but
Freudian slip.
Yeah, not all parts of it was bad. Like you talked about, that bridge scene was really good. The scene where they're dunking Superman inside the water, which also I remember from the original one, I thought was a little long.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
a lot of scenes that I feel like they could have achieved just as much in 2/3 of the time.
Yeah, when Flash is running around and then he creates himself a horrible side grab, but he's like, I can't hold on to this much longer. This is literally your whole power set. You can't continue this on. You think Aquaman's ever swim in the ocean? Just like, damn it, I can't hold my breath any longer. That's your whole thing, dude.
That's your thing, bro.
Yeah. He walks up to a tropical fish like, I don't know how to talk to him.
Oh, he speaks something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I also think it's kind of a stylistic thing that Snyder does. I mean, if you think back to 300, like there are so many scenes in 300 and this Justice League Snyder cut that I felt like were kind of similar, where you had like that kind of like vaguely Mediterranean, Middle Eastern woman whale singing going like, ah. And then there's somebody like slow motion punching for like 13 minutes.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Or Diana's mother running down a tunnel that's literally like 60 feet. I'm not even a runner. I can run that. And she runs it so super slow. And she's like, yes, she has like, she's like,
Yeah. Quit looking at the
why
wall.
are you looking around? You know which way you're running.
Go towards the light.
Yeah. And then like the ladies are like, oh, with their hammers. And like any real queen would have just thrown that box to the next one and then thrown it to the next one and then thrown it to the next one. But like, I sacrificed myself. No, we watched you run for 45 minutes.
And then
that didn't even work.
Yeah. That was the thing that made me like, I disliked that scene immensely because she went through this whole thing where she was like sacrificing all of her underlings. Then she gets out and she stands on the beach like, oh, here I am with my box. And she watches the entire thing collapse into the sea, killing all of the Amazonians.
Yeah.
And then Steppenwolf is just like, ta-da, here I am.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's like, lady, I just came through a freaking time warp out of the sky. You think some bricks are going to kill me?
Yeah.
Don't you see my luscious armor? It's definitely not been cheapened.
That's right. This is not Wish armor.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the part that's just like, ugh. You know, like when you watch Endgame or any like that, this is the equivalent of Endgame. You know,
right.
Like it's the big the every 4 films leads up to a big movie. That's what the whole idea of these comic book movies are. If I watched this film and I was a Marvel fan and I watched it and it played out like this, I would think the same thing. I'd be like, really? This is what we did? Like, Could you imagine, like, you know, Thanos being like, getting taken out by a lasso? That's what did you in? You don't have a good enough upper body strength?
Right.
You've been killing people with a 500-pound axe all day long. You got taken out because your upper body strength, because you focus too much on legs.
I watched Age of Ultron right around the time that I watched the Snyder Cut. And I was thinking, you know, when you were talking about the Flash, I was thinking about the scene in Age of Ultron where Quicksilver sacrifices himself.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, if Zack Snyder had done Age of Ultron, the bullet would have come flying toward Hawkeye, and all of a sudden you would have heard, and Quicksilver would have been like, for like 13 minutes straight.
Yeah. You didn't see that coming?
I mean, when you talk about each individual kind of scene and the general flow of this Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's not like a fantastic film to me. Like, it's not great. But I feel like because it's being put in comparison with Whedon's version, it's way better.
Yeah. What would you grade it?
See, here's the problem though. Standalone, if this was the only version of Justice League that was ever released, I would probably give it like a B-, maybe a C.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would give it.
79%. Comparing it to the Whedon version, I'm gonna give it like a B+, A-.
No.
Yeah.
You don't get to be like, oh, I'm comparing it against that piece of crap, so you did immensely better. We're not grading on a curve. We're grading on the idea that this movie is a movie that this is what he planned on putting out. We don't care what somebody else did. I don't care how good your report looks. I want you to look at my report. What do you think it is? And this movie is a C.
I'm gonna average them out and give it a B.
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna say it's a 79%, and I want sources.
And I'm not curving your grade because your attendance is horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. We'll, you know, I grew up like really, really liking the Justice League, so I wanted this to be like really good.
I grew up really liking
wasn't
Wonder
really
Woman.
good.
I can tell you, Wonder Woman 84 was horrible.
Wonder Woman 84 was not good.
But if I was putting it at the same level against the Snyder Cut, I would say it's probably a solid C also.
Well, Jerry, I mean, now we can look forward, though. We can go on HBO Max tonight and watch the Snyder Cut in black and white.
Oh my God. They're really milking this cow.
Kill me now. I love the characters. I love the fight scenes. It was too slow.
Didn't we watch it in black and white?
No.
That movie's so damn dark.
How did you guys feel about the Snyder Cut? Did you like it? Was it overblown? Was it worth the hype? Should we?
What grade would you give it?
What grade would you give it? Hashtag restore the Snyderverse or hashtag give it up DC?
I would definitely say that he deserves to get the Snyderverse given back to him. I'm not judging this movie as being, because I love 300, so I'm not judging his ability to be able to do a good movie. I'm just judging this movie. So if there's a possibility, I would give him another one. Be like, you've done well, pig.
That'll do.
Well, do.
Oh, I almost forgot. We've been spoiled with Marvel post-credit scenes. We had an epilogue that was a full half an hour.
It was so long, I thought it started another movie.
So okay, we've got.
And then I texted halfway through it, what am I watching? I thought it restarted. Why?
It was a little bit confusing also because we had the post-credit scene where Lex Luthor had escaped and was talking to Deathstroke. And then there was another post-credit scene that was the Nightmare universe, whatever, where Batman is walking around with Deathstroke, like they're buddies.
Yeah.
It also and the Joker.
Yeah. I thought we had went back to the middle of the movie where Cyborg places his appendages into the box like he's Justin Timberlake. And he sees the future that will happen by opening it up. I never remember that part of the song, but and this is the same Earth. Dark Superman flying around, just vaporizing people while he holds Batman's mask, and here's a dead Wonder Woman. Like, so this was this world goes along with that scene, right?
Yeah, it follows along. There's a scene in Batman versus Superman that goes along with the same thing. It's called the Nightmare Universe, KNIGHTMARE. And it's where Superman kind of loses his mind because Lois Lane dies, right? It is, in fact, a nightmare. That is correct. Yes. So anyway, I wanted to point out, the only reason I'm even really bringing up this gigantic epilogue is because I felt like it redeemed Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah. Well, because that's not Jared Leto's Joker, right? Now he's playing a different version of that Joker.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, it definitely didn't redeem Mira, or whatever her name was.
No, she was worse.
Horrible, and she only had 4 lines, and she was horrible in it. Just like she was as bad in Aquaman.
Of all the people that could have survived into this dystopian future, it had to be her.
And her whole way of life is that she has to be in water, so she carries around a jug of water with her. I'm guessing at some point to douse herself, so she can be like, "Oh, damn, this place is hot." Either that, or they were just like, "You're carrying, fine, Mary, you can come with us, but you're carrying the water."
Oh, you're good in water? Here, carry this.
Yeah. And this trident.
Yeah, in case we need to be stabby. All right. I think we've talked just enough about the Snyder Cut, don't you?
It was a great movie.
Fantastic. 10 out of 10. Mixed bag. Hopefully he gets more of an opportunity to present his vision for DC. We'll see. We shall see. All right. Let us know what you thought about the Snyder Cut in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on social media at We Them Nerds. And also, if you feel like following me on Twitter, you can follow me at Tony Lewis is a nerd. That's my personal Twitter. There you go. You heard it here first.
Don't follow me on Plenty of Fish right now.
follow Jerry on OnlyFans. All right, ladies and gents, that'll do it for us. Be good. Be good to each other.
Nerdy.
Later, nerds.